Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I'm back with another mansion. I wanted to create a really luxurious over-the-top mansion, and I can already tell you this might be my best interior yet, and especially the master bedroom is just perfect for a mansion like this. It's so luxurious and there's like so much going on, and I'm just so excited for you to see what I'm working on here. But first I started off by building a round pool, and I've made a tutorial for this. So the video before this one is the tutorial for this round pool here, because I had decided that I would like to develop a method that anyone can use. So you don't need the tool mod for this, you only need the base game and no mods or CC at all. So you can recreate this pool yourself if you would like to. So if you're interested, just check out the tutorial after this video and you can create your own round pool. And I think it's so cool that just anyone can create this. You don't need any mods. And usually I always build all these columns on the ground and then I just lowered them down using the tool mod, which is very simple. But in this case, I just wanted to do it in a different way, and after recording this I started to work on the tutorial because I was like, hey, this is working and I should just turn this into a tutorial. And my idea was to have a round pool and then I wanted to attach a rectangular pool, so it's like a really fancy pool. You can here see that some columns look a bit weird. The thing is, this was kind of the development stage still, so I perfected this for the tutorial where I'm explaining you how to avoid these things, but here I was just trying to figure out what to do. This was kind of how I developed this idea. And I wanted to have a nice border going around it. I used so many pristine pedestals in a beige color this time around. And this white object is the Spider Stony Goodness slab. And I just wanted this to be so modern and over the top. And there will be a home gym, there's an underground pool, and the interior is just so over the top and I'm just so excited. And here I'm building some lounge chairs in the water, and I'm going to do the same for a hot tub. So as you probably already saw at the very beginning, there are lounge chairs and hot tubs in the water, and it's like so amazing because it's like something that you would see in a luxurious resort, and it's just perfect for a mansion. So you can also check out the tutorial for this one. I always link the tutorial playlist down below, so you can go check it out. And I just had so much fun creating this because I'm using different building tricks and tool is needed for this. Like, I love the tool mod, but I just want to mention this because I think it's really cool if just anyone can create a building trick like this. Console players cannot use any mods at all. Some people feel intimidated by mods or just don't want to have them in their game. So I think it's always really cool to have an alternative, so like anyone can follow along. And here I created a very fancy pattern on the ground, and I then decided that I would like it to be like lowered into the ground essentially. So I moved the whole thing over and I then created a basement. I raised the platform and I just picked up the section that I had built and placed it inside the basement. For this I just had to place floor tiles like in this area because you can obviously only pick up a room or a floor piece. And when I created the pattern at first, there wasn't a floor below, so I had to like place all these floor pieces, and this way I was able to just move it down there. I just wanted to have different levels. You know, I love this so much and it makes the build look so interesting. And I really enjoyed to create this pattern, but then it just looked boring, so I had to find another way to do this. Here I'm working on the hot tub. You saw in the beginning that it's functional, and platforms are just magical. They allow you to do all kinds of different things, and this is how to do this. And here about the pattern, when you press Ctrl F on your keyboard, you can place like half a tile, like a triangular tile. This is super cool to create some fancy patterns and all kinds of different things. And this is just how I created this pattern, and the white outline is this lighting stripe from a spa day that I like to use all the time. You could also use a fence. I think there is like this very small fence maybe from Get to Work, and Sims can traverse like over the fence. It's not blocking them, even though it's a fence, because it's so low, which I think is amazing because it just adds realism to the game. Because in real life, you would totally step over a fence that is like an inch high or something. Like, it's so tiny. It's not even like a proper fence. So I think it's really good that the gurus like made sure that it's realistic. And you could also use this one for example. So you don't need the lighting stripe from Sparta. You could just use a fence, or you just don't use anything. You could just create a floor pattern, and you don't need an outline at all, to be honest, but it looks nice. And I then started to finally work on the build's shape. I wanted to have lots of glass, and I wanted this to be very modern and just super, super fancy. So if you have any celebrity Sims or just any Sims that enjoy the rich lifestyle, this house might be perfect for them. So it's like a really modern version of the millionaire's mansion that I have created. It's just a really luxurious modern house, but it's not even worth $1 million. I think it's so hard to create these very expensive houses in this game. Whenever I'm using the pristine pedestal, a house is super, super expensive, because when I create all these round shapes, I use a ton of them and they are really expensive. And then I sometimes work on a small build and it's already like worth $1 million or something. But whenever you are working on a regular house, even if you use lots of expensive objects, it's really hard to make a house super, super expensive, which like makes sense because it's a lot of money in this game and your Sims would have to work for this like for a long time. But I also think it would be cool if like some stuff would be more expensive. So let's say if you have a Sim family and you start from scratch and you just work your way up, maybe some stuff shouldn't be so attainable so quickly. Maybe you would only be able to have a really over-the-top mansion in the second generation or something, so it's not so easily attainable. So you really have to work your way up there, just so there is like a goal at the end. Because I remember when I was playing, I really enjoyed to just create a family. I wouldn't use any cheats, just building cheats like move objects and stuff, but I wouldn't cheat any money, and I would like build a really small starter home, which wouldn't look good because I just couldn't create good starter homes. I think I still can't do that, to be honest. I'm really bad. As soon as I have to like really make sure to not go over the budget, it's really hard for me to build in this game. But I just created a really not good looking starter home and then sometimes sold a window or something because I had no money for food, like this type of stuff. And then the Sim would just progress in their career. Then they would find a partner, they would marry, and then they would just slowly build a life. I would expand the house on the same lot usually. Like sometimes I would stay on the same lot. I just bulldozed the whole thing. I had all the money that I had put into the house before and I could just start from scratch, and I was just trying to build a beautiful house. At first I usually try to build like a beautiful suburban house, so it's like the suburban middle class dream or something. And then when they were like really rich, I would build a beautiful gigantic mansion. But I think at some point it was too easy. Like when you put a lot of time into the game and when you had two Sims which could like earn money, it was sometimes too easy. I don't know. I think it would be cool if it would take like weeks and weeks and weeks to reach the point where Sims are like really rich. Because at first they have nothing, you just start out, then they build a solid life and they have kids, but it's like nothing that should happen like in a day or something. I don't know, let me know what you think about this. I used to play so much, like now I'm just a builder, but I really enjoyed gameplay as well. I was building to play in these houses, so it was a combination for me. I always enjoyed building the most, but playing was also so fun and I created some weird storylines. And yeah, but it was mostly all about just starting from scratch to have the challenge of just building a life for my Sims, earning money, having a mansion, and just having a legacy. I don't know if this counts as being a legacy player because I'm not the gameplay expert, but I like my end goal was to have like kids, and then I would like stay in contact with the other Sims. Like, they would all be in one world. Sometimes they would live on one lot, but they would always visit their parents, and then the kids would go over to the grandparents, and then I would always make like a group photo. And then I always let my Sims take photos, and I would put them on the wall. So I usually had like a giant wall in the house where I had all these pictures from the family, multiple generations. And then as soon as the kids were grown up, I would like find a partner for them, and then they had a family, and so on and so forth. So this was kind of my main thing, like having generation after generation and building big houses. So this was kind of the grind for me. I know that some people like do totally different things in this game also when it comes to storylines, but I was just grinding my way up through all the generations. I don't know. And here I'm working on a fireplace. I used the same one in a recent build. It's by the amazing Schnook. I'm going to link her in the description box. I just had to use this fireplace again. It's from a tutorial of hers that I followed, and I was so in love that I wanted to do it again, because I feel like when you have a modern mansion, this is exactly the type of fireplace that you would expect in a house like this. Other fireplaces that we have in the game by default don't look like the type of fireplace you would expect in a house like this. In a house of this size, a house this expensive, a house that is like just so luxurious and modern. And I think this is exactly the type of fireplace that you want in a house like this. And I will make some changes to the fireplace in a second. I just wanted to add my own twist to it. So I wanted to have a mirror behind it. I then used this wall decoration from Decor to the Max. And I then used just a canvas from the base game that can be found in debug, and I used it to just fill in the space at the bottom because I wanted to have two different colors for the fireplace. But I then also just placed this table and the peacock from Decor to the Max. I didn't like the table in this area, so I changed it up and I moved it to the back of the fireplace. And I'm just so happy with this interior because it looks so modern and so luxurious. And as I said earlier, I can't wait for you to see the master bedroom. I'm just so proud of this. And the house layout is like super interesting because it's like divided into two areas essentially at the top, and even like the main area is kind of divided because there's a bridge in the center. I don't know if you've already seen it, like I don't know because I was rambling so much, but there's like a bridge in the hallway in the center, like really open. I removed the ceiling and it's like super amazing. You will see it later, and I'm just so proud. At first, I also wanted to use an aquarium, then I wanted to use 3 of them, and then I thought, okay, this is not looking good. This is not the vibe that I'm going for. And this little plant is actually from Journey to Batu, and I've been thinking about this pack so much recently. I've talked about this multiple times, and I'm always telling you, I know it's controversial, I know the gameplay is like an issue, but there's so many objects in this pack. But recently, I started to appreciate it even more, like the wallpaper from the fireplace is from Journey to Batu, if I'm not wrong. And look at this, it's like so modern and edgy, just so different. It has some industrial vibes, but it's just totally perfect for a modern house. And there's another wallpaper that I have recently used that is just like the perfect wallpaper for a really modern house. You have different gray swatches, there's like some type of texture going on, and it's just perfect. And the flower that I had used on the table in the corner is like also from the pack. Like there are so many amazing objects in this pack, and if you're looking for some objects for modern architecture, especially when you like a more of an industrial twist, I guess, not like this very clean minimalistic look. I mean, also as well, like it has a really minimalistic vibe, but it's like a bit dark and edgy. And if you are into this and if you're looking for new objects, I can recommend the pack. Like this just comes from a builder's perspective, but let me tell you, these wallpapers are amazing and I can just recommend it. I love this pack. Like recently when I started to have more dark interiors and like, I don't know, like this type of vibe, I've really come to appreciate the pack again. And let's not forget the round bar, the infamous round bar that I'm about to use. This is probably the most amazing object from the pack, and I get so many comments, where's the bar from? And yeah, it's from 22x2. And you see when you look at the color scheme, like on the interior, it's generally a bit dark because of the windows. Like the windows are black and there's generally this industrial, more darker vibe. But I just wanted to add a pop of color, so I used these curtains from the wedding pack in the swatch. It's this peachy cute color. I just wanted to try something different, so there's a pop of color. And I then started to work on the living room. I mean, the other living room is kind of like the formal living room where you would like entertain guests. It's also very close to the entrance of the house. This here is a bit more hidden in the back of the house. This is more of a personal space where you just hang out and watch TV with your family. I built the same fireplace again. I was lazy, so just used Tool to move these fireplaces over. Also, I was like play testing this, and I was making sure that the fireplace is functional. You essentially click on each tiny fireplace. Like you can see this like white stripe. These are all tiny fireplaces, and you ignite each one individually. And at first I was using one of these like wall trims for the half walls, which is like really tall. The one from Get Famous. You can see the fence in the background actually, like the Get Famous one. This tiny glass fence on the platform. There is a trim for the half wall that looks identical, and it looked so cool. It would have been perfect, but this one is sadly blocking the Sims and they wouldn't be able to ignite the fireplace, so I used a regular one. However, I was like playtesting this, making sure everything works and that I like followed the tutorial correctly, and then of course my Sim set the house on fire. Of course. And she had to take care of the fire and had to clean up the floor and everything. And this here is the master bedroom, and I'm so excited. I don't know if I'm like wrong and you're like, nah, it's not as cool as you think it is, but I'm just so happy about this. First of all, it's really big, and some of you have said a mansion needs like a big master bedroom. The bedroom should be bigger, so I really wanted to take it to the next level and create a really over the top bedroom. So it's really dark and edgy. It has like a really cool vibe, and I built this fireplace. And I then wanted to have a wall in the center dividing the room, so the bed is in front of the fireplace. There's also a bar in the corner, an armchair to hang out, just different things. And then on the other side of this wall, I wanted to have a walk-in closet, and there will also be a bathtub inside this room, like you would see in some really luxurious bedrooms. So the rest of the, like, there's a separate bathroom essentially. So the toilet and the sink and the shower are separated, like they're in this room. You can see it on the right side a bit. So it's an ensuite, but there's like this bathtub in the room. And I mean, this room is like either for one Sim or for a couple, and in this case they won't be bothered by having this open bathtub, so it all works, and you could just lock the room for any other Sims. This is like a really personal space, I guess. And you can here see the walk-in closet, and I think it looks so cool and edgy. I love the color combination. I love how big and spacious it is. It looks so realistic and like a really luxurious bedroom in a mansion. Here I placed the bar. I don't know, I think the bar is also from 22x2. It looked so cool. It like has lots of golden details, and I was going for this look. This is another bedroom. This is smaller and not as fancy because I didn't have enough space, and I really wanted to put a focus on the master bedroom. There are 4 bedrooms in total, and I think all of them are so cute. And these are like the 2 bedrooms which are in the area, which is like connected by a bridge. You will see it shortly again. So this is like super, super fancy. There's glass around it everywhere. So I have to say there's no privacy really. I know that I always mention that. I know that a lot of you think it's important to have like a realistic design and to have curtains, so there's some privacy, and I'm always like, your Sims don't need privacy, but I don't know that you like it just for the purpose of realism. But in this case, I have to say there is no realism or privacy. Probably there's glass everywhere, and when you are on the level where the master bedroom is, you could technically like see someone on the toilet. I'm sorry, but I just didn't want to have curtains going all around it. It would have ruined the design, and your Sims don't mind it. So maybe you can just ignore it and just appreciate that it looks cool. I don't know. I hope it's not too bad. Just, I'm sorry. If it's a problem, I'm sorry. This is another room. I wanted this to be like the one before this one. I wanted this to be a bit edgy and dark. And then I wanted to create this bedroom, which is supposed to be for twins, for example. Of course, the kids in this room don't have to be twins, but this was kind of my idea. I wanted to have a really beautiful, bright vibe here. Like I wanted this to be a bit like pastel pink. I wanted this to be cute, like very soft, and I just wanted to incorporate these dark windows into this so that kind of matches, makes sense. And I love this. The light in this already is just so beautiful, and you can see just how beautiful and cozy it is. This is one of my favorite rooms as well. And it's quite spacious, and I just wanted to place the beds in the center of the room. I used this table from Dine Out to kind of divide the room, and then I used a dining table behind it to have a really gigantic desk. I sometimes like to do this for huge mansions, so I'm not using a regular desk, because it just looks so small and simple. I just want something that's big and over the top, so I'm using a beautiful glass dining table, for example. So this is something I can recommend. And then I created a basketball court. Usually I finish the exterior completely, and then I move to like onto the interior to furnish. But here at some point I just felt like furnishing, and I had no idea what to do with the rest of the garden. It's a 64 by 64 lot, and you just have to fill in the space. Like you just have to come up with something. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to furnish a bit, and then I will have an idea. And I then just thought it would be so cool to have a beautiful basketball court. I then wanted to have these stripes in the lawn again, and I again pressed Ctrl and F on my keyboard to have half a tile, so I was able to fill this in. You can see that I like had to incorporate the pattern that I had created into my striped lawn, and a bit tedious but also fun. And I just placed all these stripes, and I thought that I would like to have some empty areas so it looks spacious, and you could also just place something in there, like whatever you want. So you can just, if you just need anything in that garden, if you want to build a rocket, for example, for a scientist, you can just do that, you know? So there's some space left in the garden. It looks good, but it also serves a purpose. So you can just turn this into your own build. And this is it. You can here see so many screenshots. This build is available in the gallery. It is CC free and unmodded. My gallery ID is KateEmerald, and you can also grab the tray files from my Patreon. And speaking of which, it's time to thank my wonderful Emerald Patreons and my wonderful Emerald YouTube members. A big thank you to Mehmet Ali Bariskan, Alice Turidi, Charlotte, Asia, Emma Barnes, Lisa Martin, Saturated Spark, Shannon McClam, Talena Lynn, Stephen, and Tina Turner. Thank you so much for your huge support. I always appreciate it. And thank you to anyone else just for watching my videos, for being here. This always means the most to me. I love you all so, so much. I hope you are doing very well. I hope you've enjoyed this build. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye. Oh.